Warner Brothers has just finally released their final DCEU film, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. It's time to talk about it. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Klepcx FM, brought to you by CritiX.com, a place where we talk about movies, television, and pop culture. And if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe key and that notification bell so you can be up to speed about everything that I talk about here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have had the opportunity to finally see the last DCEU DC film with Warner Brothers titled Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Now, for those of you who are a little confused about what I am actually saying, yes, this is the last DCEU film to come out of Warner Brothers before James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, starts his brand new DCU universe over at Warner Brothers as head of DC Studios. So for those of you who are not sure, because I know there's a lot of acronyms and a lot of superhero content coming from both DC and Marvel, Sony. It can all get a little bit confusing, but to just kind of recap, the old DCEU, which was started and kind of molded by director Zack Snyder, he did BVS, he did the Justice League, he did the Flash, produced and directed a lot of films within that universe, and even did the casting. He is the reason Jason Momoa is this iteration of Aquaman, why Henry Cavill was Superman, why Ben Affleck was Batman, while Gal Gadot was Wonder Woman. So this is the final installment of that storyline, of that iteration of the DC characters, this Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom. So let's talk about what it actually is. Amber Heard. He is returning with Nicole Kidman. He is returning with Yahya Abdul Mateen. And some others who we're going to get into and we're going to talk about. Dolph Lundgren as well is in this. And it is just a continuation, a 5-year later continuation of the original film, which took place in 2018. James Wan returns as director. This film, it follows Aquaman. I can't really explain about what it's about without talking about how I feel, but I'm going to try my best. So this film follows Aquaman as he is taking over his new position as King of Atlantis, and he's also a father as well. So he's kind of juggling both responsibilities at the same time, kind of trying to find his own self and his own journey as new King of Atlantis and as a father. And that's pretty much the basis of this film. At the same time, as he's trucking along, he finds out that he needs help from unlikely allies, maybe enemies, frenemies, family kind of thing. And yeah, the rest is history. Now, what did I think about this film overall? It's a mess. It's a mess. And I'm going to explain why I thought it was a mess. It really feels like everybody in Warner, everyone in DC knew that this was the exit of Zack Snyder's iteration of the DC universe, and they just kind of just had fun with it to their best ability. I mean, it looks like everybody on set was having fun, but everybody in the theater as we're watching this, we didn't really seem like we were having a lot of fun watching this movie because, for one, low expectations. Like, yeah, the first one did $1 billion, but with the current state of DC, Marvel, superhero movies as a whole, box offices aren't looking that promising these days. And I hate even saying that because I'm such a huge fan of all of these properties. But let's be real. We're in a different time right now. Superhero movies are not really the draw outside of, say, Spider-Man, maybe a Batman, maybe even a Superman, maybe even if the return of Iron Man is real. You know what I mean? So any real side characters or things like that, they're not really buzzing the way they were maybe 5 years ago. So you get a sense of there's a lot of jokes, there's a lot of comedy. This thing feels like Thor: Love and Thunder 2.0. The whole narrative of the fatherhood and the kind of poking fun at his real job, as you know, and you get a lot of that in the trailer. Like, for instance, when he's walking in the back and you see his Aquaman suits hanging on a clothesline, which is like the corniest joke ever when you're talking about a fish man who swims and lives in the water. Why would he be hanging his clothes out to dry when it's just nonsense. It follows through the entire film. A lot of characters who are a lot more serious and a lot more, grounded in the first one are now the butts of the joke in the second one. For instance, Patrick Wilson's character, he plays the brother of Aquaman, and there's like this ongoing joke about him not adjusting or knowing much about the land world, and that even gets carried on throughout the entire movie. And sometimes it's chuckle worthy, you laugh, but for the most part, you're kind of shaking your head. My biggest thing with this film, that I want to say, because I don't want to sound like I'm just rambling about issues with the movie, because there are major issues to talk about, and this one is one of them. We have seen this character, I want to say maybe 5-6 times throughout the DCEU. Justice League here, Peacemaker there, Aquaman there, and I still feel like I don't know this character. I don't know what iteration of this character I'm supposed to be like, oh, okay, I expect that because this is Aquaman. Even this movie feels different from the last movie, and then from the last movie, from the first time we saw him. Like, every iteration of he started out very serious, very gritty, and then as time went on, now he's really like, he's literally like DC's version of Thor. Like, they really wanted to like kind of just have fun and kind of Taika Waititi this whole thing, and it doesn't translate very well at all. Then you get this thing where people always make this joke about Aquaman, like, you got Batman, you got the Flash, you got, Green Lantern, you got all these other characters who have an ability that can be taken a little bit more seriously on land. What do we do with an Aquaman? And you get that vibe when you're watching this movie, because there's so much going on that you're like, would this be happening in an Aquaman movie? Like, there's like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of moment in this thing where you're just like, you're following along with the heroes and they're like on the run from things, and it's a long scene. It's longer than it needs to be, and it just feels so out of place from the rest of this movie, because it's like, this is Aquaman. Why isn't he in the water? Like, it just gets really, really, really ridiculous at points in this movie, and it just really makes me kind of excited for the future, and happy that they're kind of just like writing all of this off and about to start fresh. Because right now, if this was like an ongoing thing, oh man, it's just as bad as what Marvel's going through right now. Like, this right here would have hurt more than it would have worked, in my opinion. I think. Good things about this movie, I can give you that. The interactions or conflict between Aquaman and Yaya's Black Manta are the absolute best parts of this movie for me. I love the interactions and the fighting and the choreography and the CG moments and their conflict, their headbutting. That's when you feel real stakes, because Yaya is carrying this grief and this anger that really translates on screen, where you're like, that's the moments that you take seriously. And then the butt of the jokes come in, and then Aquaman is cracking jokes in the middle of things that it's like, come on, man, like Yaya's doing his best. He's doing his best in this, and then the tone of the film is just all over the place. So then you kind of lose it. Even he made like one joke in it. He made a joke that was kind of snappy. It was kind of chuckle worthy, but at the same time, it was just like, come on. We came to see some drama, a little bit of action. I don't know. I just felt like this whole DCEU thing could have wrapped up a lot better. It does, however, end on a note where it feels like an ending. It doesn't really feel like they're going to be going into another, any more DCEU properties or any more Aquaman. It kind of does put a cap on the storyline in a way. Randall Park is in this too, by the way, who was a surprise to me because I didn't know he was in this, but he does a pretty good job in his role. Dolph Lundgren, Nicole Kidman, it's so weird because this thing is stacked with like everybody that was in the original, but I feel like everybody is getting more screen time for absolutely nothing. Like, it's just, that's the overall thought. It's like you brought back every player and gave everybody just as much screen time to work with minimal. Like, the story is it's a little bland. Not a little. It's a lot bland. It just doesn't do well. It's not a great movie at all. I would definitely take the first one over this one, and I was not even really a fan of the first one. But you can kind of feel the fizzle. The magic is gone with this new movie, and I really, really am looking forward to see what DC does going forth. And I'm really happy that all the things that we had to worry about and the doubts and the expectations and everything are just gonna kind of go to the wayside, and we could start fresh with new expectations and give them an opportunity to start over fresh and clean. That's really all I gotta say about Aquaman and Lost Kingdom, guys. Yeah, I mean, if you're an Aquaman fan and you love Jason Momoa and you just want to see this man floating around in the water with his hair flowing, by all means, you're probably gonna have a good time watching this movie. But do not look for anything outside of the title of this movie and the main character, and of course the performance of Yaya, who to me, and Randall, I think Randall does pretty well. Randall and Yaya do very, very well. It's very comic booky. It's very formulaic. Aquaman and Lost Kingdom, guys and girls, let me know. Are you still excited to see this movie? Let me know. Go check it out, please. I mean, form your opinion on yourself. This is just how I felt walking out of this thing. But I want to know what you all think. So please like, comment, share, and make sure you subscribe. And for more movie news, television news, and pop culture, check out wearecritics.com. And I will talk to you all later. Peace.